and welcome back to the show, and I'm with Peter from Pt1. How are you, Peter?
Good, thanks, Mike.
Peter, I was reading what Pt1 does in summary, and it says it helps professionals actually, get choice in their careers, I guess is what you could summarize it as. And I'm going to myself, how do you get into a career helping other people with their careers? What got you here in the first place?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Mike. Look, I've worked in the HR and recruitment space for quite a long time, for many years, and running my own business, particularly during the mining boom, particularly on the front end, the design stuff, because that was an area that I worked with engineering companies a lot, particularly in providing resources to those companies.
Yeah.
So we'd do executive search, which is finding employees for the company, and would also find contractors to work on projects as well. And the interesting thing were these people were on, quite big dollars. Some of these, it wasn't uncommon to have $150 an hour salary some of these people were making. So and they were on really good money. However, interestingly, a lot of the technology, a lot of the changes that were happening, things like offshoring, for example, outsourcing, a lot of these really large companies decided that they wanted to offshore these jobs. So these engineers and drafters that might have been on $100, $150 an hour were now competing with people on $10 an hour. And so a huge number of people ended up were made redundant. Okay. Now, interestingly, down the track, because these were clients of mine, these are people that I knew. And over time, I noticed that a lot of these people weren't actually finding jobs at all. They couldn't find a job in their industry. And not only that, because they were overqualified, they couldn't get any sort of job at all. So they were really up against it. And of course, the job that you do, your career is so important to you. Not only is it part of our who we are, but it's also, it provides security to us, provides an income, it allows us choice in the things that we do.
When you see companies, and you've been there at that front line, and you've seen the, sorry, but don't come Monday kind of letters going out, you see these people move on. Do you think at the time when it was happening, before this real big shift, do you just think they went, I'll just get another job? And it was a shock.
Yeah, for a lot of people, that's very true. I mean, look, let's face it, we went through the GFC. That was a very difficult time. And the commodity boom fell off the wagon as well. So a lot of people did see that bad things were coming. But there's certainly the situation where a lot of people expected they were going to easily get another job.
Yeah.
But things have changed. Things have changed a lot. Think about this, Mike. Think about 20 years ago. You used to send a letter to somebody, or maybe it was a fax, perhaps. You used to have a phone call with someone, you'd have a meeting face to face. Okay. Now, all the changes that we've seen in recent times have been down to probably about 5 technologies that have come about. The internet, whatever, the things that have come about.
That have just changed. You said like the internet. I know when I first started work, I didn't know we didn't have an internet. We didn't have a mobile phone either, but anyway, that showed my age. But Google, and you see all these things that come. So there's only, as you said, there's probably only 4 or 5 major technologies, but it's just changed everything.
Yeah, it's changed everything. But the thing is that there's a whole bunch of new technologies coming through behind that, and then they're going to change things even faster. So the changes that we've experienced in recent times, that's just a taster. Things are going to speed up a lot more. And so the thing is that a lot of people now need to be able to adapt to the changes that are there. Okay, there's a lot of adaptive forces that are happening out there. Companies need, in order to survive, companies actually need to be using new technologies, new knowledge, new ways of doing things.
Absolutely. And if the companies, and they're obviously very aware of this, so as you said, the engineer that just did the same old, and very good at what they did.
Yeah.
We just got this expectation, just because that job's closed, someone else will just employ. But the other company doesn't want them because the other company's moving up and changing how it does business.
Yeah, absolutely. So the difficulty for a person, just think about this, the average professional person, it's pretty intense. They're working long hours, they've got to really invest their time in the jobs that they're doing. So the last thing on their mind is, how do I manage my career? People don't often worry about those sort of things, but the thing is that nowadays they actually do have to manage their careers, and they need to look at the trends that are happening, and they need to adapt and change with the times that are out there as well. And most people or I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people certainly finding it very difficult to adapt to the changes that are out there and find opportunities.
And I suppose one of the questions that must come about, as you said, like an engineer, he's working all day doing engineering. Another professional, doctors, lawyers, they're busy doing their careers. They don't actually ever lift their eyes up and see where the trend is going. But Palentum does. Palentum's always got your eyes up, looking, going, oh, look what's coming over the horizon.
Well, one of the things that we do when we work with our clients is that we do, well, initially, first of all, one of the first things we do is we actually identify what people, career choices that people have. What are the things that you do? Where do you want your career to go? Where are your skill sets? Where are your capabilities and competencies? What are the things that you do that you do in a special way that that nobody else does quite what you do? What is something unique about what it is that you do? It's of value to companies that are out there.
That's really interesting. You're saying that from a career point, and we're used to hearing that in our business people are watching. From a business perspective, we get taught that from me to Graphos or a little nipper. If you're in business, what's your uniqueness? Why should I deal with you over somebody else? And you're saying that.
But the thing is that the competition for jobs now is growing. It's becoming more and more intense, and people need to lift their game in order to be able to get a job or to keep their career, to keep in control of their career and have the choices that they want. People really need to take it to the next level, and so it does require this sort of knowledge, this way of doing things.
You say, and I have to be quite honest, that must be scary for a lot of people, and a lot of people must just feel unable. I don't want to use the word inadequate, that might be a little bit too strong, but they've got that self-doubt that I don't know if I can keep up with this, Peter.
Yeah, sure. Well, I can understand that, and the world's becoming a lot more complicated. I mean, let's face it, it is. And it's lucky I'm here then, because I can certainly, this is what we do. We really basically help people to manage their careers, so we can help to guide them.
So when you say help people with their careers, you don't just mean a bit of hand-holding and asking a few questions. You're going, let's see where your career is going. Let's see where your skill sets are. I like what you're saying. Very interesting. As a career coach, you're using some real marketing strategies. Okay, let's see your uniqueness in here. Let's extract that out and highlight it. And then what you tend to do is you're saying, once you've got that, you then look for the companies that will value it.
Well, of course, I guess 80% of jobs are not advertised. So companies, particularly when the market's got market's quite weak, there's a lot of people looking for work, it's quite easy for companies to find people, relatively speaking. So a lot of companies, the first thing they do is, we need somebody. Who do you know? Who can we use? Okay, now a few years ago, for one person, for one job, there were maybe 2 people. Whereas now, for one job, there could be 100 people. So these days, that sort of strategy works quite well. And it's a lot cheaper for companies to do it that way too, as well. Okay. And also, the other thing that's really important why companies choose to use that technique as well is that it's lower risk. You know that if you work with someone in the past, you know what they're a known quantity.
I know my son's an electrician, and he specialises in certain things in electrics and the big switchboards and so forth. All the companies he's worked for, he does move around. I suppose as a trade and we're talking about this, they're very used to moving around. They're very used to going, I've got 5 or 6 companies I work for. That's his language. It's not, I work for ABC company, and I've got 5 or 6 companies I work for. It just depends what projects are. So he's very open to moving, but he's also looking, they're doing the new stadium. And he said, I know the type of switchboards they're going to need. So he actually pre-did his research on some of the switchboards. Well, that's what he was asked to move in and do, and he upgrades his skills in those areas. And that's what you're saying. You're saying now you have to be flexible, you have to be knowledgeable, but you have to know what you're good at.
Exactly right. Exactly right. We've got a trend that's happening at the moment, and it's the casualisation of the workforce. Companies don't want to spend lots of money on a skill set and have people standing there, standing around when they don't need them as well as when they need them. They want that flexibility, and so they're getting people in on a contract or contingent basis. That trend is increasing. Over the next 5 or 6 or 7 years, we're going to lose about 4 million permanent jobs in Australia.
Wow. 4 million jobs going in Australia alone. Right, we'll take a quick break because I know you've got strategies to make sure that as that trend happens, your clients are actually the employed ones. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more with Peter from Pt1.